Hello and welcome to Fresh Face Comics, the comic book podcast where a lifelong comic book reader guides his friend through the world of comics for the first time. My name is Joey Morgan, the aforementioned lifelong reader. With me, as always, is Jacob. Oh my God, Jacob Licklider, the aforementioned newbie. That's staying in. I don't give a shit.
See, I had like one of three jokes prepared, but the list kept expanding, so I'm not going to go for any of them. We're doing something that involves water.
Yeah. Okay. Look. Okay. I'm gonna get this out of the way now. If you were following our Twitters, we were supposed to be recording this yesterday. Yesterday, at the time being April 19th. We're now recording this on 420. Blaze it, and this was caused. I'm just gonna say why. This was caused because there was a leak in my room where I record, and it got all over a bunch of my computer shit. Thankfully, nothing is damaged. But the irony is not lost on me that this recording was delayed because of water. I really, really fucking hate that, but I appreciate the irony.
It's ironic because we're
covering Aquaman today. We're covering the first two volumes of the New 52 Jeff Johns Aquaman run. These being The Trench and The Others, two very indescript volume names.
Yeah, very boring titles.
Yeah, gets a little annoying. Especially considering the next volume, it has like the most comic book sounding title for like an event ever. Anyway, so we're covering those today. Before we get into it, as always, thank you all so much for your support on the podcast. It really does mean a lot. We have seen some really great increase in listenership recently. We're so glad that you're enjoying the different families of comics that we're branching out into. This being another branch out into a hero that you kept saying as you're reading through, like, why does nobody talk about this hero more? Because Aquaman's so fucking awesome. I love Aquaman.
So great.
Yeah.
Because Aquaman is, let's be honest, Aquaman's been done dirty, not by any incarnation in particular, just by pop culture osmosis.
Yeah. And it only was a matter of time until a writer, in this case Jeff Johns, took that perceived vision of Aquaman by the public, and just tackled it head on, and both literally directly within the text, but also by just telling a great story with this character.
And it's not even like it's like the first time someone tried to do serious Aquaman, because there's the '90s one, which I have minor familiarity with if you have seen listened to other episodes.
Yeah. But this is episode 14 already. Jesus.
Yeah.
We've only been doing this about half a year now.
A little over half a year. I can. What is time?
What is time indeed? Time flexes like a whore. It falls wanking to the floor, in the words of David Bowie. Go ahead. I'm very tired right now.
We might be getting unhinged Joey, which is definitely an interesting Joey to be getting. But Aquaman's interesting. So this is what, the seventh title of Aquaman, like the seventh time Aquaman has been used as a title, I think.
Yes, I believe so.
Because which I think tells you they keep trying to reinvent him. And this was one of the more successful ones, honestly. It's very successful. It's a very clean slate. There isn't... It's not like, say, the Batman New 52 where there is continuity. This is... issue one of this series is very much an issue one. Let's introduce our characters.
It could be your first comic ever, for all it's concerned.
It could.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like pop culture has done Aquaman dirty enough that no one's going to pick this up as their first comic ever, but they kind of should.
Hey, who knows? It's popular enough. It really is. This is probably the most well-known Aquaman run, especially in recent years. But I don't know. More on that in a bit. I guess, let's see, anything else before we properly get into the discussion, because we've already sort of started the discussion.
Yeah.
But was there anything else before we get into this? I think that's it.
I think we've got our intros out of the way.
Just letting people know that listen to the podcast regularly. I think we have our third bonus episode coming up relatively soon. Should be sometime next month.
Yes, that is. It's most likely going to be next month with with the speed things are going at.
Yeah.
I will say no more. Yeah. So Aquaman, The Trench, and the Others.
Yes, non-spoiler section first. What is this about?
So The Trench is so what's interesting. So these two volumes collect the first 13 issues of this run. And technically it's two story arcs. Mainly The Trench itself is only 4 issues, but the volume encompasses the first 6. So,
So really, I guess like what you're saying is like those last 2 issues of that first volume lead into the others.
I don't even say if they lead in; they're just nice like character
Almost like sort of
pieces.
like coda between the two
Yeah,
main
it's
stories.
it's a nice little character piece. Like they're sort of like the you could possibly pick these middle issues up and get a nice complete story in one issue, which I usually like. Usually there are these. It's nice to have a bridge that isn't really like a story bridge, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, unlike say what we did last week with bridging origin to villain's journey. Like it was what issue 7 was basically of the Justice League title was a prologue, whereas these they aren't. They're just giving the characters more to do and more to explore.
Yeah, they're just these small character pieces that expand on what we know, especially needed for one of the characters that it focuses on, I'd say.
Yeah, like the last one. It's also just really interesting that the first 4 issues is a very nice contained, almost horror movie. Like Jeff Johns like mainly my read on him from for most of what we've read of him from last time and this time is action, but like there's some nice pieces of horror writing here.
Oh, definitely, especially in the trench.
Yeah, like
Some of those,
not
yeah.
like if it not it's sort of enjoy sort of like that mainly from just atmosphere and really creepy settings.
Which takes us to one of the big things I want to talk about here, the non-spoiler section, which is Ivan Reis's art.
Ivan Reis's art.
You got a small taste of Ivan Reis in
Yes.
Villain's Journey last time.
I don't think it was enough of a taste because oh boy, his art
Yeah, well, I
is
mean, I remember I was gushing over that 2-page spread with Martian Manhunter last time, and I was like, oh, that's Ivan Reis. You could fucking tell. And I was like, you'll know it like once you see it. Like Ivan Reis, just does this gorgeous art that I think really shines in here.
he puts a lot of character into like the expressions. Like all of he takes all the designs, right? Like in the trench, you can tell on the cover you have sort of the fish creatures in the background of the cover of the first volume, and there's a lot of expression just in those, as well as on Aquaman himself. But like throughout both these books, there's just a ton of expression and life.
I especially love the cover of the second volume, which I think is issue. Is that 13 in the second volume?
I think so.
I think it's that cover, and I don't know. It just looks like a movie movie poster. God, I can't.
It looks
fucking
like
speak.
it looks like a Star Wars movie poster. Like
It does, and I think it works really well. It's very vibrant. It's got these really nice character models on it. I love it.
I actually prefer it to the cover of the first volume because the first volume's a little static.
A little bit, a little bit.
It does what
But
it
I
needs
still
to
love it.
do. It's a great cover. Like, and it is not bad art. I'd also say what these 2 volumes kind of have for me over sort of what last time's was while Jim Lee is brilliant and amazing and a great artist, having this be consistently just Ivan Reis with Joe Prado doing the inks basically,
Yeah,
um, and then Rod Reis, who I'm guessing is somehow related to Ivan Reis.
I would assume so. Yeah, I don't
As
know
the
exactly
colorist,
who that is.
it keeps such a consistent. It keeps this consistent look. It makes everything flow very nicely from issue to issue.
Mhm.
And we just run. We can hit the ground running, and this can be perhaps the best that it can be. It also like like Jim Lee is very much a detailed artist, whereas Reese likes to play around with sometimes not including all the details.
Mhm.
Um,
It's a more, I'm not sure how I would describe it. But I would say like within Jim Lee's lines compared to Ivan Reis's lines, there's a lot more room for color in the Ivan Reis art. It, obviously, Jim Lee's art is extremely detailed. It's very liney. Here, it's ever so slightly less detailed, and enough to really let the colors pop in it. I really love it.
it's
Um,
something that I feel like some people may try to look at Ivan Reis and say, "Oh, he's trying to be like a discount Jim Lee," when he's not.
mhm.
He's got
Yeah.
his own style, and his own style suits this book in particular. Like this is a book that works with that art,
Mhm.
whereas I don't necessarily think Origin would have worked as well with that art. Like
Yeah.
it's knowing how to pair an artist with a book.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, much like last episode, I did another call out on Twitter, asked people for questions or comments or thoughts on the books that we're covering today. We got a couple replies. The first is another one that was is from a user that we had on last episode. I had a question from last episode. At Jamie_season 7 says, my question is, how does Ivan Reis's art always go so hard? Well, I think we just talked all about it. Because it
yeah,
just fucking does. It's Ivan Reis. He's so good. I absolutely love his work.
and he's
Um,
distinct. He's again, it's nice to see artists even with sort of the modern comic style or even the old comic style have their own impact on how it gets drawn. They
yeah,
really
yeah,
make it their own,
hmm
uh, and that's something that is very important.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, definitely. So I'm curious. We haven't really covered this yet, but obviously, we mentioned that Aquaman has had like a few small appearances and things that we've read before. But before all that, what was your history with Aquaman? Like, how much did you know the character
um,
before that?
Not much, actually. I haven't actually seen the Jason Momoa Aquaman movie, so all of my knowledge really came down through a couple of sources, just general pop culture osmosis, because sort of obviously like the Super Friends TV show, where is kind of the origin of the Aquaman as useless is sort
Mhm.
of drawn from very unfairly, very unfairly.
Yeah. I,
Like
re- I
it,
watched the first episode of the Aquaman cartoon, which came out around the same time. It's fucking terrible. Um, exact same, like, sort of like just useless characterization, but he had a whole fucking show. And it's awful. It's
and
genuinely awful.
what's kind of a shame, I think, with Aquaman just as a character, you don't in pop culture we don't treat other characters who have water powers in the same way. Like we don't think they suck. Like let's take a look at Avatar: The Last Airbender. You
Hmm.
know, water water powers are one of the big four styles of bending in that show.
And they do, and there's some really interesting things done with it in that show.
Yeah,
I mean, hell, I would say there's even a bit towards the end of volume 1 of this series that is very reminiscent of the way that waterbending is used in that show.
yeah.
I think you know what bit I'm talking about.
I know
Um,
what you're talking
yeah,
about.
it's great, and I don't know. Yeah, it's that's a really great point to make because yeah, we really don't treat other water powered characters the same way. Do we?
Yeah, and I don't I don't entirely know where to place the blame. I think things like Robot Chicken and Family Guy, like that sort of adult animation,
Maybe, maybe.
like
Well, but that
because
also comes from a place like we did mention Super Friends and the Aquaman cartoon already. That definitely has like a big part in it. Um, and watching those shows and like having like no other sort of comic experience with Aquaman would definitely contribute to that view of Aquaman that we
I
had
mean,
before the New 52.
it also might be because of the bright colors of the costume. Because I looked
But
at some,
I don't know. It's a great costume. I love that
yeah,
color
oh yeah, no,
scheme. I love just
it's bright, like because
I love how like detailed enough it is.
I also kind of knew Aquaman from vaguely seeing some episodes of Batman: The Brave and the Bold as a child. Um,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
and his portrayal in that isn't degrading. It's boisterous and
there
campy.
are definitely some funny moments.
Camp and humor doesn't mean degrading. Obviously, it's like he's
Mhm.
not treated as useless.
Which is now also now that you mentioned that, now the second time I'm going to bring up one of my favorite fun pieces of Batman media ever. Watch Mayhem of the Music Meister. It's so fucking good.
It's got Neil Patrick Harris
Aquaman
in
does
it.
sing it. He does sing in it. He has a line that he sings in that, and it's so funny. It's very high. It's great. I don't know if you remember it at all. I know you watched the episode
Vaguely,
long time
vaguely.
ago.
It's the problem. It's the problem of having it's you mentioning that, someone mentioning that on Twitter. I think it might have been you. Just unlocked that memory of like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's great. It's so much fun. I love it. But yeah, Aquaman sings for a little bit. But yeah, what else? What else? What else? Black Manta. What did you know about Black Manta before this?
his design, and that's it.
That's
I
right.
don't
It's
even.
a great design.
It's a
I
great
fucking
design.
love the Black Manta costume.
I knew. I wonder if SpongeBob had anything to do with it because of.
Oh, didn't they have like a character that was like
Because
vaguely Black
Well, because they have,
Manta-esque?
yeah, because they have Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, which is
What's his
more,
name? Man Ray. I think. Yeah, that's the
yeah,
villain, right? Yeah.
which is more. It's more a play on the Adam West Burt Ward Batman show, but
Yeah,
like,
but none of the villains they have reflect that show.
no, and the designs of Mermaid Man is inspired by Aquaman.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, so
Oh,
I wonder if that contributed to it. It's weird because one thing that I think would describe these two books is just it's kind of a love letter to like humanity, honestly. Like,
interesting.
and looking into what makes a character human, because Arthur Curry Aquaman is kind of an outsider, and
Hmm.
throughout it he's trying to come to terms with it. And I don't think it's an arc that's completely over. I
Yeah, you're right
I
about that. Yeah,
like I have a feeling the next episode will be covering, because spoiler alert, I already know what the next episode
I think
is.
anyone at this point can put
Yeah.
together what the next episode is.
Um,
So yeah.
is going to be the culmination of that, which
Mhm.
is really important. Um, it's also interesting because the second volume contains a lot of flashbacks,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
um,
A lot
a
of
lot
different
of
looks at
different
Arthur, I'd say.
looks at Arthur, different takes on him. I love that the new 50. I don't know if the new 52 design's the only one, like the first time that it's done. I love the detailing scales on
Yeah,
the
yeah, it's
armor. I
great.
like that it's armor, but it has its flair, and it's not afraid of being like bright and colorful.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
I think again, part of it might just be because the rise of dark and gritty comics in the 80s, and especially in the 90s, of dark and gritty redesigns.
Yeah, yeah. One more big thing I want to ask about before we move into spoilers. Mira, did you know anything about Mira's character before this?
I knew she was a character.
She was a character.
Um, through unfortunate means, kind of.
Because of who
Yeah,
the actress
who
that
plays
plays her.
her? Yeah, yeah.
Which, man, what a time to be recording this.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That is
That's gonna be
happening. That
interesting,
is happening. I mean, it's supposed to be going on for a while, so it'll probably still be going on when this episode comes out.
and very
Um,
possibly when the next episode comes out, depending how long it gets dragged out.
yeah,
Uh,
it'll be dragged out a while. It'll be dragged
it
out a
will be,
while.
which is kind of a shame. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, moving
but
on.
well, just like I mean, a couple final notes, I suppose, about these is that they're two very different complementary volumes with very different tones. First one leans into more horror, whereas the second one leads to more
It's more action
action and
adventure.
action,
Yeah.
especially emphasis on the adventure. Like
Mhm.
like the second one does more globetrotting than.
Yeah, almost like an Indiana Jones way, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't expect it, but it fits really well.
Yeah, yeah, it does. Yeah.
Also, I love the logo. It's it's a nice different logo for
Yeah,
Aquaman.
it's very nice. I
Um,
always like it.
yeah, and despite two kind of generic titles, like I think they could have done a little better with the titling
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
volumes.
But
Like,
at the end of the day, when you write these comics, when you write single issues, you're like, okay, this arc is called The Trench. This arc is called The Others. They
others.
don't need big elaborate names because you're not planning on selling them as whole books, really, when you're first writing
Yeah,
the issues.
Yeah, it's just not the best at being like, oh, here's this gives doesn't give me any sort of good indicator of like what's this going to be about.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but I would highly recommend picking them up. They're both they're both very strong. Like honestly, I think these are both stronger than either of last week's.
I love Origin to bits, but definitely better than Villain's Journey.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I liked Origin a lot too, but this just hit more, and it scratched an itch that I again wasn't expecting to have.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's Aquaman.
it's
Yeah, it's
Aquaman.
great.
He is
Yeah. If you've ever been just or have never liked the character, just read these, please. They're so great. They're
uh,
so great. And
it's not
I mean,
like
hell,
a
just
perfect
continue
book.
reading this run. That there's an omnibus of all the Jeff Johns Aquaman stuff. You could just read that, and you'd be fine. So yeah,
Yeah, I've heard
I
once.
guess
I've heard once Johns leaves this book, it doesn't work as well, and then it gets better, and then it might not because well, different creative teams can take things in
well,
different directions.
who knows? Just
Who knows?
depends on how you view it, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess it's time. Let's move into spoilers. So, kicking it off in issue 1, you don't have to read a single word until the second page of this thing.
Yeah.
um,
But the first page again is a great. The first two pages are this great establishment of horror. Just these creatures emerging from the deep. Um,
I love the way their dialogue is written.
yeah.
Just these like markings implying a language, and then the translation of it. It's really
And they're
cool.
almost like smudged markings. It's a very nice little touch.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Really, really interesting. And a lot of this book is very light on dialogue. A lot of the next book is light on dialogue. It's big on atmosphere. It's big on action pieces, and that's not a complaint in the slightest. It knows where it excels, and it just goes with it.
but we really kind of open the story proper with a robbery in progress.
Yeah, we have
Um,
these just this heist, this truck moving along, these police chasing after it. Um, this from over a building leaps Aquaman.
Aquaman in a
This beautiful full page shot of him. The trench, it's the name of the story. I love the trident, love the costume. It just looks gorgeous. But then these guys just start laughing at him. These robbers just start laughing. Like, dude, is that Aquaman? They start laughing. Even the police sort of start making fun of it.
yeah.
They're like, "What's Aquaman doing here? We're not in the ocean. I don't see any fish around." It's great.
And the robbers are like, floor it. They're going to run him over with the truck. And he uses the trident, being, basically a lever, to flip the truck right over.
Yeah, yeah.
In some brilliant art. Again, very, very, very good visual storytelling. Possibly from necessity due to the fact that Jeff Johns was writing what?
Three big books at the time.
A
Three
bunch of
big,
books.
yeah. And even the New 52 Green Lantern is pretty light on dialogue too. Like you could tell a lot of the focus went to Justice League, and the other two, were like, okay, the artists have a lot of work to do here. But they've chosen some great people for it. Ivan Reis does this, and Doug Mank does Green Lantern. They're both brilliant. I always thought Doug Mank, when you see some of his art, he's very Jim Lee-esque. You could tell that. Anyway, but yeah, so then these robbers start shooting at Aquaman. We find out he's bulletproof. Did you know that was a power of his before this?
I didn't actually, but like it kind of makes sense considering he has to live at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, yeah. He's bulletproof. He can leap tall buildings in a single bound. You get the idea.
And he controls water, and he kind of, ingratiates himself to the people around him.
Mm-hmm.
One of the cops, after all is said and done, asks, "You need a glass of water or something?" And
Yeah.
he just starts with just this look of just like,
What the hell are you talking about?
What the hell, dude? No.
He's like, no. He jumps away, and the police are stunned by being upstaged by Aquaman. Meanwhile, we go to a seafood diner. This is a very famous scene from this run. The scene is
and this
a
is
big
where
favorite.
I think you can see a lot of Ivan Reis's expressions on the art throughout it.
Yeah, Yeah. But God, I love all of this. This first page is great. It's just these guys just, sitting, eating here. Guys like guy runs in, goes, "You never believe who just walked in." And then just these shocked stares as everyone in the restaurant turns over to look at Aquaman walking into a seafood restaurant. And the comedy of the scene is so fucking good.
The expression on Aquaman's face.
He's just like, I'm just here to eat.
I need some food. He gets a menu, and it's like,
the waitress walks up to him, starts apologizing for working there.
for working there and not looking pretty, I guess, which is a weird thing to apologize for. Let's be honest.
Yeah, yeah. She says she's putting her kid through school or
Two
whatever.
kids through college, and it's, oh God, I'm sorry again.
So she takes his order. He goes, "I'll have the fish and chips." And they're all like, like look around, like they're still shocked. And this dude next to him goes, "You can't get the fish and chips. You talk to fish." Aquaman's like, "I don't talk to fish." He's like, "Yeah, you do. Aquaman talks to fish. Everybody knows that." And I like this little bit. Like it just, Aquaman's like, fish don't talk. Their brains are too primitive to carry on a conversation. It's just this really great dialogue here that I think like. Right away we're tackling the public perception of Aquaman, but giving Arthur genuine character here too.
Like he's just kind of already just fed up with all of these people.
Yeah, but then also in this scene, the guy asks him, he goes, "Why this restaurant? The decor? What is it?" And Arthur says that my father used to bring me here, and I love that little that sort of like flashback where Reese's art style kind of changes for it.
So like this, yeah, it's a very nice like muted colors, almost like we changed to like watercolors, like a watercolor painting.
It's great.
And it's this fascinating bit of just this. I think he's supposed to be a journalist. Just grilling him.
So. But then we end like sort of this guy asking him questions. He goes, "Okay, one last question. How's it feel to really be, Aquaman?" "What do you mean?" "I mean, I'm sure you've heard all the jokes and seen all the skits on Saturday Night Live on YouTube. So, how does it feel to be a punchline? How's it feel to be a laughingstock? How's it feel to be nobody's favorite superhero?" Aquaman just whips out his fucking trident, walks away,
and leaves some gold on the table
for his waitress to put her kids through college. And I love that. I really, really love that. And then we ended like this steaming plate of food from his table, and that's it. It's just a very nice scene. It's a big favorite from this run, and
it's also an important scene just to establish like, right, we're not gonna do the jokes. This is gonna be a book that wants to take itself seriously.
Yeah. This brings us to the next question that I wanted to talk about on Twitter. From @the GD256, big friend of ours, Mason, says, "So he talks to fish. Does he talk to women?" This both transitions us out of the last scene and into the next one.
I love we have to deal with some of these ridiculous questions.
Because
Mason,
yes, Mason. Arthur Curry does talk to women. One of the most beautifully drawn women I've ever seen in a comic, honestly. Fucking Mira. Ivan Reis does such a great job with her. And we get this really great scene here where Arthur's like standing on the edge of this cliff, remembering his father, and Mira walks up behind him. And I'm curious. So you knew like roughly that she was Aquaman's girlfriend, I'm assuming, before this?
Yeah, just love interest. I didn't know any sort of like backstory. Okay. And you get some of that later on, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah,
I kind of wish Johns might have explored more, but it might have also been a kind of expected you to know it, but again, or he might be saving it for later. But what's really interesting is that Aquaman doesn't want to go back and be king. That's really established here. And Mira is happy with that decision to find a new life on the surface with the man she loves. Romance is not easy to write.
No.
Often it can just turn into the author has decided these characters will now be a couple.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But I
but
think Johns writes this really well. Like it's very
yeah,
believable.
I think with John's writing and again Reese's artwork, um, again with the facial features on
Mm-hmm.
both Arthur and Mira, that you can tell these two people are deeply in love,
Mm-hmm.
and would do anything for each other. And I always love that sort of relationship. Like I know people love relationship drama, but sometimes it's nice just to have a happy relationship.
Oh, but don't worry, there is relationship drama later on.
Yeah,
So
yeah. There's
we
actually like
we
the
will get
relationship
there.
drama there, despite not always liking relationship drama.
Yeah.
But we
We end
build.
the issue on this great scene of these fishermen out in the water. They get attacked by these creatures that come out of the water. They're obviously about to be killed. Um, they do get killed
Well, yeah,
at the
one of them
beginning of
just
next
gets.
issue.
Well, one of them gets pushed in there, and the water turns red with his blood, and you have these creatures again, terrifying. Just the last line being, "There's food up here."
Mhm.
Like,
And then I love the cover of the second issue, sort of like as the other side of issue one, where you see issue one's cover inside inside these creatures' eyes, and it's like almost like the other side of like what Aquaman was looking at there
yeah, which
in that
is
first issue cover.
again really interesting. Again, great horror, great telling you like this is a horror story because let's be honest, from this point out, it is very much a horror story. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
like it's very much kind of Jaws inspired in a lot of ways, but that might also just be the seaside setting and
Yeah,
the monsters
yeah.
coming from the deep. But yeah, issue two ends with this great horrific scene of just these creatures coming up, attacking them. One of the fishermen grabs a pistol, blows one of the heads off, and it just makes it angry.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and it.
Well, one of the guys says, "What do you want?" And we have that like sort of like scratchy writing again for the creatures, and they say food. We can just call them the trench at this point, right?
Yeah,
Because that's what they're called.
they're
Okay,
called the
I
trench.
don't want to keep calling them the creatures. They're the trench. God, I love their designs. So anyway, so the scene continues. All of these guys get fucked. They all die, of
Well,
course.
they actually get you think they die, like they get sprayed with a mystery substance, and the trench are heading towards the beach and the docks where a mother and his son and her son is waiting for their father to come back from shore. Oh boy.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I want to bring us to our next question from Twitter, again from @Jamie_season 7. It's a good time to bring this up. Follow-up question: Am I weird for finding specifically this Aquaman hot? Um, I mean, looking at this scene here, no, I'd say not.
No,
Reese draws a very, very masculine Arthur Curry. Um,
he is also shirtless.
yeah,
So
yeah. So it's exemplified. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Just wanted to bring that one up now. Felt appropriate.
but I love this scene. I love this idea of baby Aquaman skiing.
Yeah,
Like
right.
it's
Yeah.
kind of ridiculous, but in
Hmm.
that obvious way,
Hmm.
of yeah, of course Aquaman's dad wants him to learn how to ski and not do stuff in the water and
Yeah.
ignore that. Um, and
But what?
again, Mira here is just I want to try it. It sounds it sounds fun. Like if we're gonna make a life on land instead of the oceans, I want to learn more about the world you grew up in. I want to
Yeah.
learn more about you.
Hmm. You can tell she's like fascinated by the surface. I love that aspect of her character. It's cool. But anyway, so looking through this photo album, they come across this picture of Arthur with his dad and some other guy there. Mara asks who it is, and Arthur gets sort of weird. He says that picture shouldn't be in there. Trust me, we'll get back to that later.
We
But
will get back to that later. He's
then
a
there is a knocking on the door. It is a police officer. I love this bit where he's like, "Hey, we need your help." Arthur answers the door again, still shirtless, and the guy's like, "Oh, you look like Aquaman, but it's hard to tell without the orange shirt."
I
um,
wonder if that's intentional tension there.
yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. Anyways, yeah. So he needs his help. We need to head over there.
And this idea that he came 30 miles up the coast to find Aquaman.
Mhm.
And okay, there is one running gag that I get why it's there.
Oh, I don't mind it. Come on.
I find it kind of annoying, just the constant. Is that Aquawoman?
I mean, come on. What else would they call her at this point? You know, like from a public's perspective. You know, that a lot of this book is about that. It's about tackling the public perception of Aquaman. So,
Yeah, I
it's
guess.
calling her Aquaman is more like, God, just please get her fucking name right. You know. But from this point, we get a small taste of Mira's power. Did you know anything about her powers before this?
No, I
Okay,
didn't.
so she's basically a waterbender.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
controls water. And
yeah.
again, Johns is tackling it with the seriousness that any sort of water-based magic system or powers is generally tackled with in the public, like in pop culture.
Mhm.
Um,
So you're gonna head down to Beach Rock, which was attacked last night. We get this nice 2-page spread, which you can tell was originally a 3-page spread, but they condensed it down to 2 pages.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
because just because, like, I don't blame them. 'Cause these are trades. It's hard to
yeah.
do like a fold out like that with
I mean,
trades.
hey, if the All-Star Batman and Robin trade can do the big like 6-page spread, then with the folding page, then they can do
Wait,
it here.
what?
Yeah, the All-Star Batman and Robin trade has like this big ass like 6 or 7 page spread done by Jim Lee of the Batcave, just all the way across, and it fully folds out.
But like, they didn't even do
It's Jim
that.
Lee. It's
Yeah, but they
Jim
didn't do
Lee.
that for the death of Superman. Even
Yeah,
like,
it's Jim Lee. I don't know what it is. People love Jim Lee.
You know what? If the standard is All Star Batman and Robin, I take it back. They deserve this. This
Exactly.
deserves
They
it.
deserve the full page. Come on. Anyway, so yeah, so Aquaman and Mara get there. They're asking what's going on basically. We find out that let's see. They're talking to the police officers here. Obviously, as always, the police officers are not taking him seriously. They call Mara Aquaman again. It's we get the pattern at this point. Aquaman then searches out into the water. Does a little.
Before that, interestingly, Mira is very much of the opinion they should be bowing before you. It's like I'm not a king to them, Mira.
Yeah, yeah. It's a cool little moment. I always like it.
I do find it interesting that the scuba divers, like, one of the scuba divers, like, I'd kill to breathe underwater without this gear. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's cool power.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
We get the
and I love
little.
the way he looks is sort of portrayed by like sort of that like echolocation.
Mhm.
Uh,
We get the little like the sound of it spelled out for us. Little. It's so great. So he's searching under the water. We pull this. What is it? We pull this sort of like bag out of the water. Um, and with some kind of cocoon, they say. Aquaman can hear this. This thing sort of. What is the cocoon? I'm not sure exactly what that is.
it's created, I think, around the body of what the trench. It comes from like the trenches, like the stuff they spit at people. They become cocoons.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's again.
See, but then other people they just straight up kill because like we see them like go after someone and like their blood
Yeah,
comes up.
well, yeah, that's because they need to eat.
Yeah.
These are they are making leftovers.
Mm-hmm.
They are the trench are not all else. The trench are efficient at meal planning.
That they are. That they are. But hey, they see plenty of food here, so they attack. They attack Beach Rock. Come up
In a drove, and it's like you can just imagine. Like, while we're going through this kind of quickly, these pages, the art is brilliant at building up the tension.
Mm-hmm.
Just
and
to
we
the
get
point,
here, like, and the actual fight scene is so damn good.
and it's kind of brutal. Like,
yeah.
blood comes out of the trenches' mouths. The water
Mira's
itself is
power is on full
powerful.
display here.
I even say Arthur's just like you get to see some of Arthur's fighting skills, and more of that, nice care for Mira, and sort of their leader, I guess, at least the leader of this sort of faction.
Yeah. It catches Arthur's trident when he tries to attack it and says this food comes home to the trench. And this takes us into issue 3 then. Great. Another great cover. They're all great covers.
This might be my favorite cover of the first 6.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's pretty
My
great.
favorite cover overall is the one is issue 13, obviously, just
Mhm.
because you give me a good movie, like a Star Wars style movie poster, I'm all over it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's just good to sign.
yeah.
And we open again. Interesting that John seems to like to open these with just those like little character teases for like getting Arthur's backstory.
Mhm.
Like by this point, like
I am
like
curious. Do you know who plays Jason Momoa's dad in the Aquaman movie?
no, who does?
Fucking Tamara Morrison.
I don't really know who that is.
That's Jango Fett and Boba Fett from Star Wars.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
See.
yeah.
Here's the thing. I have seen like Attack of the Clones. I think like maybe twice.
Okay, but he just had like a whole show to himself. You know who he is.
I
Come on.
also didn't watch that
Yeah,
show.
because you're fucking stupid.
No,
Anyway,
I'm just not that big a Star Wars fan, Joey.
shut your face. So anyway, we get this great scene where like Arthur like asks his dad like what he's doing. You know, he's just waiting at the end of the dock. It's a nice little moment here. I really love this.
Yeah. And I love that it's like I made a promise to her every sunrise in case she ever came back.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know, it's just that truth that, you know, his love is out there and Arthur's mother will be coming back. But it's like there are things out there that you can't even begin to imagine juxtaposed with the horror of the trench.
Still attacking this. We do this sort of thing like almost every issue, for these first couple issues at least, where like the last scene of one issue is immediately the first scene of the next, and we're
Yeah.
still like continuing that action sequence.
It's a good use of cliffhanger for a serialized narrative because comics at their best are a long form serialized narrative that you should be able to sort of dip in wherever you want.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Anyway,
again,
oh sorry, go ahead.
Mira has like a full page of just some great, you know, for lack of a better term, waterbending action.
Yeah, yeah. It's waterbending. It's it's waterbending.
I mean, it's taking the ideas of waterbending. I don't think it's directly taking from like the martial arts that inspired waterbending because waterbending was that show has so much going on in it.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, fight continues, big fight. The trench
And well, the
eventually.
great idea that like Arthur can't really speak with them,
Mhm.
like
And it's an interesting choice to still have the reader understand everything that both sides are saying.
I think it's implied that Arthur understands them. They just, you know, don't care
Mhm.
because, which again is sort of trying to subvert that idea that like he controls the fish because he speaks with them. It's like no, like Aquaman can tell, like the fish can tell Aquaman no, despite you know the communication that's not like communication.
Mhm.
Um, but they retreat, and the last thing that says retreat is save us, which will be interesting
Mhm.
because you know it's like where are they going, and almost immediately like they move to the cocoon,
Mhm.
and the cops are ready to just fire at this, and inside the cocoon is a dog.
Which
Like
I love. I love that Jeff Johns is like, yeah, let's just do the dog. Just have the dog here. We need the dog. Which will be surprisingly important later on. I mean, not really like important, but just great to have there.
it's you know what DC gives its heroes families. Dogs can be part of the family too.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Bring back Crypto the Super Dog.
Yes, we love Crypto the Super Dog. So we save the dog. Um, let's see, the Trench are still escaping. Well, they have escaped at this point. Um, let's see.
And we have some probably the most dialogue that any issue's
Yeah,
been
it's just like
given
this
thus
big clump
far.
of dialogue here. Sort of like comes out of nowhere.
Basically, to give an explanation that like the trench, you know, have bioluminescence like an anglerfish. Um, you know, the police trying to get Aquaman not to interfere, um, but like they just steal the body,
Mhm.
like even though it's government property, and they go to a seemingly what looks like on the outside kind of an abandoned house by the sea. and the residence of a marine biologist named Stephen Shin.
Who? What is it?
Taught
We
him how to
learn.
use his powers again in a great flashback panel, and then he tried to kill me.
Mm, he's like, and Mara asks him why. He says, because I wouldn't take him to Atlantis. So right before we meet him, even we get a feel for like what Stephen Shin is like as a character. But they go to him. He opens the door. Obviously, he's very surprised to see them there and see that we see like very quickly that like he hasn't changed much from when Arthur last met him.
He's just aged and grown wrinkles,
Mm-hmm.
and he's such an interesting character because
Mm-hmm.
Johns really gives this nice level of mistrust. Like you never quite know, like, could he want to betray Arthur?
Mm-hmm.
Is he that insane? Like, part of the seeds are planted through the art of just like you see how disheveled his like living space is with like all like the dirty dishes and an open pizza box. Um, and but like he does help. He lets them lay out the body and basically try to do uh, sort of an autopsy with the hint that you still kept that trident despite all the trouble it might bring. He's going to come looking for it. Like just tell me about the creature.
Now I'm curious.
Uh,
Do you know who he is in that sentence?
I was assuming it was Black Manta.
You would be incorrect.
Okay.
You would be incorrect.
I thought it might be like one of the things that because like of what Black Manta is kind of doing in the others with like searching for the artifacts.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, no, because he's after a different trident in that. Remember?
oh right, yeah.
Yeah, not the one that Arthur has specifically.
Okay, interesting. That'll be interesting.
Arthur keeps doing this thing in this book where he attaches this trident to his back, and there is nothing on his back to hold that in place.
Um, and you can't even argue he's like clenching it between his butt cheeks because of the angle.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
right. Damn it! I wish I could argue that he was doing that.
like that'd be a fun argument. But like, no,
Yeah, no,
I
that
think
is,
the
that is being held.
implication,
That is being held there by nothing.
but I think the implication is there's like a strap in the armor on the back, probably, but we never see it.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's very weird.
Yeah.
Um, and it's interesting. So the trench in their teeth is basically a venom that causes paralysis. Uh, at least when it's or it would if it struck a normal human being. Um, and that under the tongue they excrete a paste, which is just kind of gave me shivers. Like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
way it's described and the way we've already seen it utilized.
Mhm.
And this idea that they came out of the mid-Atlantic ridge and the trench there, like it really hits on sort of like the Lovecraftian horror without doing like the
Yeah.
cosmic horror of just
Yeah. Yeah.
creatures
It's one.
from
It's
the
one of those. It's one of those moments where like you're reading it and you're like you'd almost like hear this music in the background of like just this underscore of just how tense this scene would actually be.
yeah, it is tense, and they immediately leave before
Yeah, they're like,
Shin
okay. It's like
can.
okay, we know where we're going. Just fuck off. They're leaving. And then Shin is still wants to find out where Atlantis is.
Atlantis is.
Arthur lost him his credibility. He's trying to get it back. He's like, I did you a favor, Arthur. You're gonna do one for me. What about me? Wait, please tell me this. Tell me this time. Where is Atlantis? And they just leave him
They
there.
just leave, and the issue ends on such an evocative idea of them going down into the deep dark of the trench.
Mhm.
Like,
I love those like 5 long panels on the last page there. It's really nice.
yeah, and it's this idea that like they're desperate for food and like they're dying from extinction. Like,
Hmm.
it's this interesting. It's like, oh, they're only trying to survive, just like us.
Yeah.
Because again, Aquaman set up, and I suppose Mira is too, just by being with him, as an outcast, as like the outsider, just trying to live his life,
Hmm.
and the world isn't letting him,
Yeah.
and that's fascinating.
Yeah, definitely. Move on to issue 4 here. Another great cover, nice action piece in the cover here. Um, Reese almost like changes his style through this issue. It's really
Yeah.
interesting when they're actually down within the trench here. We see Arthur and Mara still exploring down here. Get some beautiful drawings of like this aquatic life
It
down
might
there.
also be because there's an additional inker for this and issue 5.
Mm.
Uh,
Well, that makes sense. There's a lot of black in this one.
there's a lot of black,
There's a
like,
lot here.
which explains why you would need a second inker. But like, again, it's just, you just get this creepy atmosphere, just sort of the darkness of the ocean,
Mhm.
um, and the idea um, that like this, there's this like craft at the bottom of the trench that's been there for centuries. Um, I think the implication being that it's Atlantean. It's not like an alien craft like
Mhm.
that's crashed. It's sort of like the horror of our own planet, which is a very good source for horror using the ocean like this. Just because,
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Now we get a bit into this. The trench start to like sort of like circle around them, but like smaller trench, like they're baby trench,
baby
um,
trench,
baby trench. I love it.
and
So
one
they're
of
not.
them
So,
just dies.
yeah,
Just dies like
it's sick. It's mutated, inbred. Um, it's a dying race, they say. And then have we ever had like a proper like 2-page spread here yet?
not
We had the
yet.
3-page fold out,
We
but this is
had
the
the
first proper
foldout.
2-page spread here. We see this fucking giant, like mother trench almost. Oh my god, I love it. Looks terrifying, and
Terrifying.
again, really playing around with the inks here. And again, this really nice atmosphere underneath this like canyon here beneath the water.
Again, this great idea of these creatures as a dying race, which I have a feeling is going to eventually parallel with Atlantis itself.
I
Um,
mean, I will say you have not. I think I told you this already in text. You haven't seen the last of them.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
we will get back to this.
yeah,
Um,
there's because like they are dying. Like this is like their spawning ground,
mhm.
and they notice that like all of the walls are lined with cocoons, where
Mhm.
you've got people in them, and like they can't open them down there because they're at the bottom of the ocean. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
and the
um,
implication is that they are alive in these cocoons.
yeah, and we see just how many of them there are here. Even though they're a dying race, they still need to survive somehow.
Yeah, and the
Um,
idea being that they need a lot of food already being established.
yeah, like even eating Aquaman and Mara probably wouldn't be enough.
Yeah, it wouldn't last them. It wouldn't keep them for a while. But like, it's like they need to bring them to the slow surface slowly,
They try to
and
throw they try to throw Arthur into the mother.
just
Another
to
great,
buy time to try to save these people.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. So at the same time, while these are great action pieces and it's big action, big adventure, slight
it's
horror.
kind of terrifying.
Yeah, it's terrifying. It's sad too, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think,
this
like they
is
make the
this
trench
is
almost sympathetic while being terrifying.
yeah. They're just trying to live.
Mhm.
Like they don't deserve. They don't. I mean, they kind of do deserve, but like, do they really deserve what's about to happen to them?
Mhm.
Because like,
Through all
again,
this, Arthur
there's
hits.
this
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
there's this like Arthur cries out that he's sorry for basically what he has to do, and it's not a big panel, but
Hmm.
that look on his face from Reese
Yeah,
is
yeah.
just like you see the pain.
Yeah, because he sort of like he triggers this volcanic eruption in his fight with the mother, um, and everything starts to erupt down here. You just I love it. Oh, it's so gorgeous.
And he
You see the regret on Arthur's face. Mira's obviously feeling for him here. It's so good.
some of the lighting as the eruption is happening too just adds to that horror. And it feels very uh, classic like early color horror. You know,
Yeah, definitely.
like this isn't like a modern horror film because modern horror films sometimes rely almost too much on like dark cinematography where you like can't necessarily see everything. Like no,
But
this lets you
the way the
see
light
things.
is used here, like it's so good.
It just and the colors just pop. Rod Reese's colors, like he's he's up there for me with like Gregory Wright for colors and Brian Boland for like
Oh
colors to
yeah,
look out for.
yeah,
Uh,
definitely. just in their use of color, like in these small moments here, these little splashes that really make a difference. Anyway, we get the cocoons out. We bring them onto the surface. One of which is the mother of that kid from the end of that issue, or the beginning of that issue. And the kid runs up to his mom. They're reunited. It's a nice moment here.
And it's this great thing of Aquaman. Yes, you're my favorite superhero. And again, the beautiful colors of them just standing on the beach.
Just fulfilling that moment, where that guy asked him at the beginning, like, how does it feel to be nobody's favorite superhero? If nothing else, he is this kid's favorite superhero. And I think that's a lot of what this run as a whole is about, and what this first sort of mini arc does really well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and just our final scene of the issue and the arc that is the trench, because the next two issues aren't really part of the arc. They're brilliant, and we will talk about them, but they're not really part of the arc.
Yeah. But that same police officer comes back, says that this dog that they got from the cocoon has nowhere to go. They decide to take in the dog, and it's fucking adorable.
It's like, oh, by the way, he doesn't know how to swim. Then I guess we'll have to teach him. And I don't know. I just love that image that we close out on just Aquaman and Mira hugging this dog. Like, yeah. It's so wholesome.
I do love that the officer says, like, oh, well, how do you call him Aqua Dog? And again, just Mira just doesn't get it. She's like, why? I don't know.
Why? I don't get it.
Yeah. Wholesome note to end the issue on, which is great to have, because man, issue 5 is intense.
Issue 5 is intense. Joey, you didn't warn me that it was going to get this intense this quickly.
I don't know. I guess like it's always been like, this is one of those volumes from the New 52 that like I had early on, and I like kept rereading, so it's always been like part of the story for me. So it feels very natural. But man, it fucking hits.
Like, an evocative cover with some great like desert colors. Because we open issue 5 with Aquaman falling from the sky.
And then this gorgeous 2-page spread with the title of the story Lost there. So good. You see him just sort of looking around. We cut to 12 hours earlier at Amnesty Bay. Aquaman leaves. Aquaman like gets out of bed. He gets a call from the new U.S. Navy, which okay.
But some people just like, wait, how did you get this number? And they want to know what was in that trench because they found an artifact, and because it's the U.S. government, they started poking their hand, like they just started poking it with a stick. They started fucking
with it, yeah.
Which, I mean, I'm sympathetic. I'm a scientist. I would totally do that too.
But yeah, so they start doing that. They call Aquaman in. We go back to the desert once again, and
he is in rough shape in the desert.
Yeah, like he has been stabbed through the leg horribly. His
pulls it out, and it's again the art goes hard. Like, this is where Ivan Reis's art goes hard.
Yeah, he discards the gloves and the orange shirt, quote unquote, and he finds his trident. Ironically, he says, "I need water."
Yeah, and he just collapses.
Yeah. So good. We go over to the Navy. Then Aquaman's looking at the artifact. They then get attacked.
It's emitting some sort of a sound that Aquaman's super hearing, because he has super hearing, which is again another nice power that works with the sea theme. Like, the powers all make sense.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, so these are. I forget. Do they say what these guys are?
It says, at least not initially. It says, it's like, we're under attack by who, and it's just
I'm pretty sure. I mean, they're Atlanteans. I believe do they say that? They're definitely Atlanteans.
They imply it.
They're definitely Atlanteans. I don't know if that's a spoiler or not, because I forget all of them that.
I don't think they do, but they definitely imply it with the glyph meaning Atlantis, and it's sending out a signal. A high-pitched signal to be found. Like, it's not that hard to put 2 and 2 together. Yeah. And we get some great action before cutting back to the desert, where we get some great emotional art.
Arthur starts hallucinating his father, and I love it. It's so nice. Had they confirmed before this point that his dad was actually dead?
I don't think so. Again, implied but not confirmed.
Mhm.
It's yeah, the
Um,
water never did anything but suck the hope out of life, did it? The water never brought us anything but pain and misery. No, no, that's not
oh,
entirely true. The water gave me your mother, and your mother gave me you.
oh my God, so good. Um, and then this mirage sort of starts turning on him. Um, you
And
know,
you start thinking it's going to be like, hey, don't isolate yourself. And then it's like, no, wait. It's like you're not like anyone up here. Up here, they laugh at you. Uh,
you'll
uh,
always be lost. He ends on, um, and Arthur sort of shakes this hallucination, sort of calls out for some form of life to find him, and he gets this little reptile. I'm not sure exactly what it
it's like a
is.
lizard. It's
Lizard.
like an amphibian lizard,
Yeah,
and it's
comes up to him.
adorable.
It
Um,
is. It really is. Um, we go back to how Arthur got in this situation. He's still fighting off the presumably Atlantean people, and
oh yeah, they do say the water. You're Atlantean because their suits have
oh,
water on
there
the
it is. They do.
inside.
Okay, good. All right, I'm glad that wasn't a spoiler. Shit. All right, cool. Yeah, you're Atlantean. We have a leak to an open fire, and they fire, of course,
And it
and
blows up, and
Arthur
that's
falls
how.
down to the desert, and we get where we were. Arthur still holds on to. Arthur finds the artifact again from the wreckage of the ship,
And
and
he finds water. He finds the water in one of the corpses, basically.
oh god, and like stirs the artifact around in that water, and gets this message from someone there.
From
Says that
someone who
Atlantis
I
is
do
in
not
danger.
know.
Um, the art makes it a little bit hard to tell, but I'm pretty sure I know who it is.
Okay, well, I don't, because they don't say who it is, I don't think.
Yeah.
So, no spoilers. I'm sure we'll find out
No. Okay. No. No.
eventually.
This is just a soldier.
Okay.
Yeah. This is just
Uh,
yeah. Oh yeah, because he dies in this hologram thing.
yeah.
Yeah. There we go. All right. Never mind. Yeah. He's just a
But,
soldier.
like,
Never
yes,
mind.
basically there's, like, peril in Atlantis. Someone's taking over and hidden truths, and he basically just gets killed. Um, and Arthur gets found by the U.S. Navy.
Which
Uh,
of course makes for the greatest clickbait titles. U.S. Navy saves Aquaman from desert, which I just I do love the irony of that.
like yeah, like he got
Um,
lost in the desert.
mhm,
Talk about a fish out of water. What
yeah,
will he do next?
yeah. Which this is presumably on some sort of like late night show or something.
Yeah.
So still perpetuating the whole like they mentioned Saturday Night Live earlier
They mentioned they
in Justice League Origin you had the Conan O'Brien name
yeah.
drop. So
I'm
like
surprised they didn't try to make it look like Conan O'Brien.
right, that'd be
Uh,
great. Especially with like Conan O'Brien's weird connection to the DC universe.
does he have really a connection?
Well, we mentioned it in Dark Knight Returns. He did a role in Dark Knight Returns, remember?
Oh right, yeah, because he was in that.
And then
But
he was like, he was in he played like a big role in like one of the Lego games where it was Conan
ah,
O'Brien. Like he was just as Conan O'Brien.
as Conan
Yeah,
O'Brien.
it's weird. I don't get it. I really
Maybe he
don't.
just likes DC like that one U.S. senator who's in all the Batman movies.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love. Oh god, I always love that. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird, but Aquaman gets home, is greeted by Aquadog, and picks up a note that says, I went to town for dog food, Mira," and we will
And
catch
that
up with
brings
that
us
next
to
time. You
issues.
Yeah, issue 6. You said
Which
three was your favorite cover. This is my
yeah,
favorite cover of this collection.
which is fair. They're all gorgeous covers, but
Yeah.
I like 3 a lot.
Mira is just like one of my favorite fucking characters. Yeah, especially like one of my favorite love interests. Probably my favorite love interest for any DC hero. I mean, aside from Catwoman, of course.
Yeah,
Uh,
I feel like although I feel kind of like Catwoman, Mira could probably hold her own title.
oh, definitely. Well,
Like
Catwoman does hold her own title.
yeah, because
Yeah,
I know Catwoman has had several long running titles.
yeah. I
Uh,
mean, hell, they're coming up with a series called Aquaman, and Mira's going to be one of the main characters in
yeah,
that. So
yeah, which it's nice to see Aquaman still have like a title. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, Mira's always a character that gets a nice amount of spotlight, typically.
yeah,
Anyway, so we open up 4 years ago.
and
2 years after the DC universe was created.
yeah. Oh, we don't. You know, at least Aquaman. This title at least that relationship you could imagine
Mhm.
coming about in like 4 years.
Yeah,
Like
this is fine. This makes
this is nowhere near as bad as the other stuff.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
this is decent. And okay, so like you get so much interesting character that Mira was once a villain.
Mhm.
Uh,
Who's sort of she lived in Atlantis. She was sort of trained to kill Aquaman.
by her father, it's implied, because he says, "I will not fail you, father."
Mhm.
Aquaman will die, and that's where we get deserted.
Mhm.
Um, and we
Um,
and we cut to present day where
Mira is doing what she said. She's shopping for
for
dog
dog
food.
food, and before that,
Um,
there's just this skeezy store owner is just it's kind of squicky. It's like
yeah, yeah. I mean,
like
that's also the point,
it's the
obviously.
point. I don't necessarily think it needs to be in here.
That's fair.
Like yeah, because like it's like you have this the lady in the store is like you're the store owner says hot. Like okay, we're
Yeah,
doing this. Like
yeah. But I mean, hey, he gets what he deserves.
he does at least get what he deserves, and it is a
Yeah,
badass to see
yeah.
her breaking his arm.
Yeah. He goes to like touch her, presumably on her ass,
Oh yeah,
and
no, he's like where's the zipper, and
yeah,
he's like right above her ass.
yeah.
Like
And so she breaks his arm, which is great in two places it seems because he screams twice.
yeah,
Um,
well yeah, because she does it, and then he like does it, and then she does it again.
yeah, yeah. Which I mean, not complaining about, not complaining
Not
about,
complaining.
not complaining.
Um,
But yeah, so sort of like helps out this cashier that he was harassing. Um, she walks out. This police officer sort of like comes after her. She starts like controlling all this water in here, like ready to like just fucking kill this guy. We get a great like whole page here, but what was it? She then
it's like she's like it's not a wound he won't recover from, and maybe he'll avoid inappropriate physical contact in the future.
Mhm.
And it's like, and they're like, well, what's the water doing? It's like whatever I command it to do. Um, and it's the implication, yeah, is like it's like she's gonna just get hurt all these cops,
Mhm.
and
Um,
then
sorry, go ahead.
and then she allows herself to get arrested after hearing that a man who was arrested for presumably abuse, um, yeah, uh,
Where
but
she just straight up says, put me in the back of your car and go where you need to go, officers. I give up."
oh no, like this. Oh yeah, this man who killed his wife and escaped
Mhm.
prison and is
Yeah.
now going after their daughter.
Yeah, so she gives herself up, supposedly, goes into the police car goes to this guy's house.
And there
Um,
is a hostage situation in progress. And then you get one of the best scenes in the volume.
yeah, where she does, you remember okay, we've made a lot of Last Airbender references here, but this is bloodbending. This,
It's
this,
it's more intense than bloodbending. It's I am going to rip all of the water from your sweat and your blood and your bodily fluids.
my fucking God.
And it is intense.
I love the way she like describes what she's doing though. The water I'm pulling, relatively, you haven't drank anything in a few hours. Now a day, a single day without water, you'll feel fatigue now, headaches, muscle cramps, erratic pulse, blurred vision, dementia. 3 days.
3 days.
Oh my God, I just Mira's pure fucking power is insane. She's
And
such an overlooked character.
there's
Like,
the
and
interesting thing that she stops when the little girl asks her to, because she would still miss her father despite the fact that he murdered her mother. Uh,
which I mean, that's
is interesting. It doesn't get enough time to be
it's an interesting angle.
explored.
Yeah, it's an interesting angle to take, but you do kind of get it.
You kind of get it, but I can also see where it can come across as more than a touch problematic.
Yeah,
Um,
but also you don't know what the relationship is. They don't
yeah.
delve into that.
Again, it's
So
a problem of it's including something and not having the proper time to actually explore it.
Like Mara straight up says it. Like the girl says, "He's still my dad," and Mara says, "I don't understand you people, any of you," and she jumps away.
She jumps away, finds herself alone, makes, I guess, an image of her father,
Mhm. and remembers her past, and she says that she's made like a connection with Aquaman. He's not who we think he was. He doesn't want the throne of Atlantis, despite the hardship he's gone through. He's noble. She's then branded as a traitor, and presumably that's why she's no longer in Atlantis, and that's how she found Arthur, and that's how they grew close. And the rest is history, as we say.
And the volume pretty much ends on a couple of nice little scenes. First, the woman from the store giving her a fuck ton of dog food and supplies.
Yep.
You know, and it's this great little like bonding moment with humanity. Like, you know, it's like, I don't know, I guess I just wanted you to know that we're not all bad. No, you are not.
Thank you. And we go back to, she's feeding the dog. Arthur is there then, and he says that we're going to see Dr. Stephen Shin again. He's going to tell us who sank Atlantis. And then we get this nice little like sort of like ending page. You know, this is where we're going in the next volume, and well, sort of. And that ends out volume 1.
Which, oddly enough, I think is the weaker volume of the two, if only by only slightly.
They're on the same level for me.
Yeah,
but I'd probably agree.
Yeah, like this is also brilliant. Like, pick this one up. It's good. It is. Yep. It is a nice introduction to the character. You feel so much about Aquaman and Mera just as characters, and having villains like the Trench just. The villains have so much character, but it's all done through showing and not telling.
Yeah, definitely.
And like, it's a great sort of like aquatic based villain, and like it basically it makes its way so we could also explore who Aquaman is, who Mera is, and sort of what their situation is in this particular universe.
Yeah. Now, before we move into volume 2, I want to cover our last Twitter question from today. At JOER 83905975. Please get a better at Rachel.
Please, you can change that. I will show you how.
Says, what exactly is a Aquaman? That is you know, I don't know. Okay, just so everyone knows, like we're doing these for every episode now. Please, we love the funny questions.
We love the funny questions, the serious questions.
Anything, just keep them coming.
Just keep them coming. They're great. I like a healthy mix because, like this one, and Rachel. Hopefully, you're listening to this still, and we convince you to read these because they are good. Like,
yeah, absolutely. And I don't know, come on the podcast someday.
Yeah, please. Yeah. I mean. We would love, basically, we would give guest spots to most of our friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty much like everyone that has replied to our tweets about these things for the last episode and this one. We would love to have you on the podcast. Jamie, that means you.
That means you. That means you. You especially.
Yes, I would love to have Jamie on the podcast. That'd be great. Yeah, I'd love that. Everyone except that guy that posted the Watchmen petition.
Yeah.
Everyone except that guy. Fuck that.
Yeah, you seem weird, like
really weird.
Yeah. Anyway, the others.
The others, yes. All right, covering issues 17 through 13.
No, 7 through 13.
7 through 13. Did I mention I'm tired?
What I find funny is we are recording this on 420, yet we are both sober. Like,
we are.
You are just really tired.
I am. Before recording, I took an accidental 2-hour nap, and I did not mean to, but here we are. Anyway, all right. The others. Oh my god. Okay, so like, just to get it out of the way, so we're not gushing about it this entire volume. I love Ivan Reis's Black Manta. Like, just looking at these opening pages, even before the first issue begins, like the art that they choose to show off before issue 7 actually begins.
And what's interesting is like, so Black Manta's design in the full costume shouldn't be that expressive, but somehow it is.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that is just down to Ivan Reis and colorist Rod Reis, again, because it's the art and the colors just give so much character to this.
Yeah, and Joe Prado. Inks are a big part of that.
Inks are also a big part.
Yeah. But anyway, so
I do have to ask though, are all of these other characters that make up the others, are they all New 52 originals?
That I'm unsure of.
Or like
I'm unfamiliar with them outside of this run. They could very well be original. They probably are.
if someone
Um,
knows in the comments,
go
if you're
go
on the
go to the
YouTube
go
video,
to the YouTube video and tell us.
or just add us at Twitter, we'll pay
Yeah, add us on
attention.
Twitter. Yeah, we always do. We always pay attention to our mentions. So just add us. I'm at Jomo with 3 underscores. You are at Newt5996.
996.
Add us there and tell us, because I don't know much about if these characters existed before this. So anyway, on with the show. Issue 7. Again, these dialogueless scenes. This time we don't get dialogue until the 3rd fucking page.
Well,
And it's
there's a little dialogue on the first page. You're a long way from home.
oh, should I miss that?
Yeah, but it's one line, and we have a mysterious character who may see the future, but doesn't. But you don't see everything, and we just get
Oh
it's
my god,
basically the
look at
build up
that.
to
Look
the
at Black
Black
Manta.
Manta
Oh my god, I love
reveal
that. That is gorgeous.
with some flames in the background as this jungle is burnt.
Jesus, look at that. That is unbelievable. I know we've done like fucking nothing but praise Ivan Reese this whole podcast, but my god, that is next level. I've never been more intimidated by Black Manta. This is amazing.
And
Anyway,
he shoots lasers out of his eyes,
yes, and
knocks her down again, and just says, "Let us do this face to face."
so he takes off his helmet, pulls down her little mask
Veil.
thing, veil, yeah,
Uh,
and says, "You're looking for that savage girl, aren't you? I find her. She dies like you. After I kill you, I will go to Tehran,
Tehran.
Tehran, I don't know, and kill your family, your husband, your children. I will clean them like a fish, as I do
Which
everyone."
so the implication here is that this is also a Muslim woman who he
Yes,
is terrifying and just disrespecting by removing her veil.
yeah,
Like that
and
is
and then killing her.
yeah.
You see
It's
just
like
how brutal Black Manta is.
and those claw scars just across his face.
Yeah. Oh my god. Like you get so much history from the character right off the bat.
And I didn't know his backstory.
Yeah, but I feel like you get so much from just this first scene.
Yeah.
And
All
then
done without really saying anything.
yeah, and then as the light fades from this woman's eyes, she sees a bit of what is to come, or what was in the past. Or no, sorry, she sees the future, so that is probably what is to come, right?
What is to come? Yeah.
Yeah.
Of Black Manta stabbing Aquaman with what looks like his own trident.
Yeah. Oh god. Anyway, so good. Moving on. We go to the Atlantic. Aquaman is saving a ship because Aquaman.
It's what he and Mira does, and you know what? It's a great act. It's great action. Um, you know, it's this great sort of team of them working together. And basically, the idea is that they're bringing every ship they can, and then they go see Dr. Shin to discuss. We get a nice recap of the important bits from the last 6 issues that are going to come up again in this arc.
Again, just a nice jumping on point if you wanted to jump in here, but at this point, just read the trench. We're not we're not so far into the series that you can't read the trench.
Yeah.
But yeah, so good. We go to see Stephen Shin. He takes him the artifact that he saw the hologram with last time, or I guess 2 issues ago now, not last time. Yeah, so he shows him this. Talks about again recapping the trench, the volcanic eruption underwater.
And
we see the hologram again.
This idea that that Arthur kind of has to deal with the fact that he kind of did a genocide.
He did a genocide. He is a 7th Doctor. Yeah.
There's your Doctor Who reference for the night.
There we go. There it is. Anyway, so yeah, so this sort of like water hologram is playing. From the back bursts this yellow energy. Out comes a fucking panther and a woman with knives and says, "Stay back, Arthur. Shin is mine to kill." Which comes on so strong.
It's like, oh, okay. Because like we have the back, and like I was my eyes were kind of just glazing over the recap stuff, just because I basically read this only like a day or 2 after I had finished issue 6. So I didn't really need the recap, but this was like, okay, this is striking.
Yeah, just a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah.
So she tries to kill Shin. Mira stops her. Fight begins. Aquaman,
Mira creates a water panther.
which is so cool.
You can do so much interesting stuff with water powers.
Yeah,
Why are they so disrespected whenever it comes to Aquaman?
Yeah, I love it. Aquaman gets between them, says, "Calm down." This woman says, "Calm down. Since when have we ever been calm, Arthur? And since when have you cared about what happens to surface dwellers, let alone Dr. Stephen Shin?" So we get a name for the person that Black Manta just killed. Is the Seer. She is dead.
Her name is Kaina, which I think Black Manta did declare as he was killing her.
Did he?
Yeah.
Damn
But I like this description. He left her butchered body in my jungle, and he took the golden seal from her.
Man.
It's this idea that if Black Manta is involved, so is Shin. You know that. And then Mira becomes the audience surrogate. Arthur, what the hell is going on?
Rightfully so. And who the hell is she? As we get a brief glimpse of their past, we see a young Arthur here with these other people. The Seer's there, and
Arthur is shirtless with jewelry.
Presumably the same jewelry from Justice League Origin.
Like Origin, yeah. And we get like, sort of not as like names for basically everyone. You have Arthur, Yawara for this.
Yawara, I think.
Yawara for Panther Lady. Vostok X for the man in sort of the suit, and
the operative,
and POW, prisoner of war. But yeah, and that moves us into issue 8.
We start off 6 years ago.
Again, something that makes sense for Aquaman at least, not other heroes.
With the past that they've given us.
Yeah.
Get a nice little Easter egg with the Daily Planet newspaper there. But we see Aquaman's father killed. We see that's happened. We get some flashbacks here.
Arthur is press outside trying to get to him.
How about reporters? Of course, Shin is there. Arthur steps outside, rips off his shirt for some reason, and then goes to run away.
I think the whole idea is like he doesn't want to wear like human clothes.
I guess. But he continues to wear pants.
He continues to wear. I mean, yeah, I guess.
Anyway, he jumps into the water. Shin runs after him, says, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry."
And this page goes hard of just, you see the seasons past. Like the implication he stays there like all day. It goes to winter, back into spring, and a year passes.
Yeah.
And then
Arthur says things were different then. I was different. We're back to present day now. We see talking with Yawara here and Shin. I like the panther sort of like coming up on Shin there.
Yeah, like it's like this is a bad dude. I'm gonna eat him.
Yeah, as it should.
I don't love always how Yawara is written. Like especially it's like, but Arthur and I had a connection. She knows what she's implying.
Yeah. I mean, she's doing it to rile up Mara because she doesn't like Mara right off the bat. It's
like, and Arthur's like a telepathic one.
Yeah, a telepathic one.
Not better. Which, like, yeah, Arthur, why do you think that would be better? Like, being in telepathic contact with someone would be very intimate just because you can see, like, all of their thoughts.
Yeah, it does not make it better. Anyway, so we're talking about how let's see. It's a jaguar, not a panther. God damn it!
It looks like it.
It looks like a
jaguar. A jaguar is usually black. Like
I don't know.
I don't know. It looks kind of like a panther.
Maybe
they're saying jaguar because they don't want people to think Black Panther.
Well, no, that wouldn't have been a misconception at the time.
I suppose. But like at this rate, like they thought he killed Shin already. And this idea that
Yawara is assuming that Shin has to be involved with Black Manta. Manta would never been able to find the Seer by himself. We keep talking here. Seer's death. Let's see. Whatever. Jaguar gets fed. Yes.
And Mira's staying behind to protect Shin, which is interesting. And they, Yawara and Arthur teleport away. And Mira's like, right, you're going to tell me how you're connected to Black Manta, and you're going to tell me everything you know about the others.
6 years ago, I love this 2-page spread then with all the others.
The idea, okay, Arthur, put on a shirt. You're in Siberia.
Nah, he's got this.
I love the image, but oh boy, like, put on a shirt, my guy.
No. You're just proving Jamie's point. Anyways, so what now? Big fight scene. What else?
Kind of sees something in the future, and they're just trying to track Manta. And Vostok is like, but the people, they are Russian like me. Interesting portrayal of Russians here. I kind of got some like Cold War-esque vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, despite this only supposed to be so this is what, 2011, 2012. So 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
The Cold War had been over for over a decade.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's this idea of like, we refuse to let innocents die. And Arthur is just determined to follow Manta.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this idea like operative wants to save everyone. You get some interesting ideas for all who these characters are, despite not necessarily getting all their backstories.
Mm-hmm. We get this nice little moment at the end here where Kahina sort of like goes to Arthur's face, sees his future. Arthur says, "Do I find Black Manta?" She says, "Even better, my friend, you find happiness," which is immediately juxtaposed to her dead fucking body in present day. We're seeing her. These people come out of the trees, then start shooting at them,
working for Manta.
And just because we spent the last page here in Germany with Manta, because God, I'm sure it was just because we wanted Ivan Reis to draw another Black Manta picture. Because God, look at that.
And the idea being that he's found another of the others.
Yep.
In an army health center in Germany.
And I love this because we're not even sure why he's doing this yet.
Yeah. Like, he is...
That is a siren.
Yeah, that is a police siren.
That is a siren. Are you safe, Jacob?
Yeah, I am perfectly safe.
Good. All right. Anyway, still in that hospital, doing that same thing from the trench, actually, of just going straight on from where that last scene ended.
Yeah.
With issue 9 here.
And you see, the implication is that, like, this artifact, I think, is translating the words of psychiatric hospital in German to English.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what's supposed to be happening.
Mm-hmm.
And you see, I think this is this supposed to be operative?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Who's making these calls and then like trying to call, I suppose, people he loves, and then gets his head garroted.
Oh no, sir, no. This is a prisoner.
Oh, this is prisoner of war. Okay.
This is prisoner. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, he gets his head garroted, and that is terrifying.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Like, the art again, like him being killed in the reflection of Manta's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And he fights.
Oh, yeah, he fights. No, he still makes it out.
Yeah, he makes that. He puts on these gauntlets. They're manacles, because prisoner. And he pulls a gun and just shoots Black Manta.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like a gun under your pillow with one bullet. Why are you
even fighting me?
And he just bursts out the window.
Yeah.
While he sees, traumatic war flashbacks.
Yeah. Back in the Amazon rainforest, Aquaman and Uera are fighting off these guys. Who are these guys?
They're people they're mercenaries that Black Manta has hired.
And they're getting their asses handed to them. Uera kills one of them fucking brutally.
Another one of them shoots the Jaguar.
Yeah. No, because she kills him because he shoots the jaguar.
Jaguar.
Oh, sorry, no, it's the second guy she kills. Okay, you're right. Damn it.
She kills a lot of people. This book has a body count.
Yeah, it's surprisingly bloody for something that was sold to a general audience.
Yeah. And I imagine, and it implies she calls some leopards. Are they leopards? Or are they cheetahs? They might be cheetahs. Cheetahs. And it's like, we only kill when we have no other choice. It's like they work for Manta, they risk their lives, they kill my animals, they die. And the cheetahs just eat them.
And then she starts coming on to him again, and Arthur's like, "I'm taken, just fuck off."
He's found that happiness.
Yeah. He doesn't need what she's describing. The fight, the blood, the heat. He doesn't need that. He's happy right now. But of course now Manta's going after the people that he cares about, so bringing all that old shit up again.
The idea is that Vostok, who was psychologically engineered to prefer the isolation of space, and with the Atlantean helmet, he doesn't need oxygen, food, or sleep, so he's on the moon.
Yeah, love it.
I wasn't expecting an Aquaman story to take us to the moon,
but here we are.
But we are back at Shin's house.
Oh yeah, go back to Shin's house, asking about Arthur's backstory with Manta. But Shin starts describing like his life with Arthur growing up. He was always friends with Arthur's father. I love this. I love this whole sequence here. Because you see that Shin is both angry about what's happened in the past, but definitely full of regret at the same time.
But he still kind of wants to exploit Arthur, like get a reward, which is such an interesting thing. Like, it's such an interesting sort of thing. It's like, well, I lost my job, I lost my credibility, my only friends. Like, he kind of did it to himself.
Oh yeah.
And he fell into desperation, which is intercut with Prisoner of War just trying to escape Manta, and it's this great sort of it's this great juxtaposition that this idea, Black Manta attacked Arthur, Tom tried to defend his son, so this is what it's about. Black Manta murdered Arthur's father.
Thomas suffered a heart attack during the fight. He died in the hospital 3 days later. Black Manta didn't kill Aquaman's father. In a fit of rage, seeking revenge, Aquaman killed Black Manta's father.
Which is an interesting development, because that could have easily become really edgy.
It could.
But Johns is smart enough not to lean into the edge.
Aquaman gets a really edgy moment later on, but I think, but it works. Like it's deserved, I'd say.
At this point, we know that this arc is all a revenge tale, and all discussing sort of the horrors of revenge, and like the terrible path that revenge can lead someone down.
Yeah, definitely. But we move in here to issue 10. Probably my favorite cover, second favorite cover of this collection, because obviously we know what my favorite's going to be.
I agree with you there.
God, I love that one. The lighting on that specifically, like coming off of Manta's helmet, I love that.
Into all the red, and I love that, like, when it's on a page like this. I think this is something that, like, I should really only see in the New 52 volumes do, is that they do the black and white version.
Just the penciled and inked pages. Okay. Except for, when we're out of page space, like with issue 5 last time.
Which, I mean, it's fair when we're out of page space.
It's more an added bonus than anything.
But
so we open with the operative here. The operative is investigating Black Manta because he knows the Black Manta is after him. He's after all of the others. And he's attacked then by these sort of militia troops. I love this whole sequence here where he escapes into a flying house? Yes, a flying house.
Because
which is so great.
Because we are going to have just some. I think it's his own flying house is the implication. And his grandson is there.
I love just like how old they portray the operative, and we just saw him like how awesome he was in that whole last sequence. It's great.
Okay, fascinating that this dude just has a flying house.
I mean, why not? Why not? It's a flying house.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I love it. Like, just let it sink in that it's a flying house.
It is a flying house.
And like lock in the bookcases and set the living room for hypersonic speed. Like
We need to get Aquaman. Yeah, it's great.
That line shouldn't work, but it does.
Yeah.
Um,
I remember always being confused by certain sequences in this issue. I don't know why, but like the way they play this next scene here, where like Shin starts talking about Aquaman's past, and then we see present Aquaman and Black Manta. I always thought that was like the past for some reason. I don't know why. I always got really confused by this bit here. But yeah, anyway, but yeah, so we're still in the present. I don't think there are any flashbacks this issue, come to think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Aquaman has found Black Manta. They are fighting. You see just the rage in Arthur's face.
Manta's after a bunch of Atlantean artifacts. We have prisoner of war meeting up with Yawara on the street while the fight is going on.
I lied. There is a flashback. Here we go.
Here's
There we go. We see the incident that caused Arthur's father to die. They're attacked on this ship. We see Arthur save him. He goes into the hospital. He dies. You know the drill.
I love the red.
But you see, the red here that plays over Arthur killing Manta's dad.
Who he thinks, I think he thinks that's Manta.
He thinks he's Manta for a second, and he just kills him straight out. And my God, just the way Reese then draws Manta, seeing his father dead, just further solidifying that rivalry. And what makes Manta really the big bad of Aquaman's stories. It's great. I really love that. This is like the definitive Manta backstory for me. I love this.
I imagine this is the one that after this universe they probably kept with too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is like, it. Yeah.
This became the defining one because I've heard there's some other ones that like may be a little problematic.
Yeah. I think the one immediately pre 52, not immediately, but like 90s Manta. Yeah.
I heard that one's a little problematic. Yeah. But there's this musings just on sort of like this is a cycle of vengeance. Something very human.
Yeah. Which again plays around with like the larger themes of this book, which is Arthur struggling with his duality, his literal duality within him, being both human and Atlantean.
And sort of the rejection of the throne and sort of a responsibility as a possible king.
Yeah.
Because they never say it. They never say that he's really rejecting the responsibility, but it's subtly implied.
Is. Yeah. This fight continues. I love the way this whole thing is drawn. We play this current fight alongside Arthur and Manta fighting in the past as well. Manta then escapes the fight and goes straight to Mera and Shin. And bring us into issue 11. Another great cover. Love the reds here. The image
of the trident head.
Yeah, the trident through Manta's helmet. Oh my God, so good. Once again, opening on a flashback 6 years ago. Once more, we see Arthur going to get this trident. He takes it from the dead king.
The king who built Atlantis, and all of the others basically all getting artifacts that I suppose suit them and their personalities. And we basically then cut forward to today with the fight. Where Manta, has disappeared, using Yawara's globe to teleport.
Yeah, and Mera versus Black Manta is such a great fight. It's short, but I really, really love it.
I love the line where like he doesn't deserve happiness, and you don't deserve mercy.
Jesus, my God. Love this fight here. What is it? Manta takes Shin at this point, right? Yeah, he leaves Mera there.
Reveals that his suit has a bioelectric seal, so she can't like manipulate the water inside of it.
Oh, love that. Which again just makes Manta both great character and a great threat too here.
Yeah, and then we cut back to the house, the flying house,
and we're going to the moon, and we're gonna get Vostok because fuck yeah.
Vostok might be the one character who feels like he might have existed before the New 52.
It's very possible.
That design looks like it's pre-established.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, but who knows? I don't know. Like I said, I don't know any of these characters outside of this volume.
He tries to say hello. He coughs. It's like, excuse me, I've not spoken in 2 years.
which is a legitimate thing that would happen, but also just really funny. I love
It's
that.
really funny. Arthur's gonna try to go after Manta himself, um, and you have this great musing, um, this idea that he doesn't care. It's been true since the day we met. You haven't seen any of us since you joined the Justice League. You forgot about us. I can't forget about anyone. I miss the families of my squad. I miss their parents, wives, and children like they were my own. But there's nothing I can do about it. They aren't really mine. I don't have anyone. You have the League. Um, and it's this idea of Arthur pushing away anyone who tries to be family, um, and reject anything um, that he might need, which is again it's a fascinating thing because then Vostok has this other interesting connection.
Yeah, and he sort of like offers up for the others. He's like, your burdens can be shared with us. He says, just this idea that you don't have to do this alone. But Arthur takes this responsibility himself and leaps out the plane. Out of the flying house and and
Into the water.
into the water, going to find Manta. Manta is trying to find the trident, which
is on an island with an interesting shape.
Yeah.
Does this island have a name? I feel like this is like an important location.
It might. I know. They do this location in the Aquaman movie. They might give it a name there. I don't know.
It feels important.
Yeah.
And there's this reveal that they've been kind of holding us over that Shin is not actually working with Manta, which is a surprise.
Yeah.
And Manta's basically using the artifacts to find basically the last one underneath the tomb. The scepter of the dead king, the weapon that sank Atlantis, is mine. And because we end issue 11 with Manta essentially winning.
Yeah. And issue 12 again. My God, I love that cover. It's a play on those trench covers too. You see the reflection of the other person there. I love that.
What is interesting is that issue 12 also had a variant cover that's included in the back.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
For Robot Chicken.
Almost every issue gets a variant cover at some point. Yeah. Yep. Always fun. I always love those Robot Chicken variant covers are fun as fuck. They're so cool. Anyway,
fun. It doesn't connect at all.
They do a lot of those. Typically, there's a Green Lantern collection that I have that has a bunch of like really fun variant covers in it. They're all like plays on a bunch of different styles and different like shows and different media. It's cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, open issue 12. Mara is trying to find the others. Some great pages here. She goes to find them. She does, of course. She speaks to the others.
Entrance.
Yes. She speaks to them. Arthur is already gone, of course. But it's Mira, so she's not going to listen to Arthur's wishes.
Stupidity.
As easily as the others. So she decides to go after him as well.
While Manta's monologue, this is going to be the end of Aquaman, and this is going to be all the secrets towards his ultimate destruction. And it's a great villain monologue. Again, so expressive in the art.
Yeah, yeah.
And we use it to flashback. I think the flashback is actually supposed to be from Shin's perspective.
Yeah, definitely.
Of him encouraging the young Arthur to, swim and communicate with the fishies.
Yeah.
It's so sweet. Like there's something just adorable about all the way Baby Arthur is drawn throughout both of these volumes.
Despite, us knowing what Shin would eventually come to do with Arthur. It's such
a nice dynamic.
It's an interesting, like, humanizing moment for him. I like it.
Like you can feel like Shin is just a flawed character. He's not evil. He's not good. He's human.
Yeah.
Like all the characters in this arc are human. Like the entire theme of this arc is humanity in a sense. But we get some action of Arthur stabbing his trident through one of Manta's goons.
obviously already starting to disregard the only kill when you absolutely have to rule. um,
And
but
it's basically going to be Trident versus Scepter, and the Scepter is powerful. Like,
yeah,
it causes an explosion. And then Arthur immediately tries to save Dr. Shin.
yeah.
Something that, like, 6 years ago, he probably wouldn't have done.
Hell, mere days ago, he probably wouldn't have done. Yeah. The others come in to fight Manta.
A great 2-page spread of them bursting in.
Yeah. I love. You know what? I think Yawera is a great example of just trying to how to word this delicately. I think you know what I'm going for already. Like Yawera is a great example of how to do like a more provocatively dressed design in a tasteful way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it feels more tasteful than a lot of other designs. Like,
yeah,
I have seen the Starfire design from the New 52.
Oh my god! See,
and that does.
Oh my god! And like that, it's not just the design. Like fucking Starfire's characterization sucks too.
Yeah, like Yawara. It feels with Yawara. It doesn't feel as male gazing. Like there's still a little bit of it there, but
yeah, but
it's nowhere near as overt, and it feels something about the design just kind of feels right.
Yeah. It's
like,
interesting.
With the Starfire design, it doesn't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
There's something about the design that just doesn't feel comfortable. Or like the character isn't drawn to feel comfortable.
Yeah, this is something that like Yawera, like, you know, you feel like she wears because she can fight in it, and because of the way she's drawn, because she can fight. You know, you feel that's deserved.
But it's deserved, and it doesn't rub you nearly as bad as other skimpy designs. Kind of the same with Mira's design, honestly. Like Mira's design, well, not skimpy, is form-fitting and shows off curves, and there are definitely panels that play up to the male gaze.
Yeah, but Mira and Yawera are just strong characters and push past that and are written in such a way that it doesn't really make
it doesn't feel just like male gaze, which is the big problem. Because like there's definitely some like Jamie mentioned in his comment. There's
Aquaman male gaze, female gaze, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Arthur's shirtless for most of this volume.
Yeah. Which might explain why Jamie has those feelings.
Yes. Well, I don't think he's read the others. I think he's only read the Trench.
Well, Jamie, if you're listening to this, I know you probably are.
Yeah, I think you disregard spoilers anyway.
Listen.
Read the others. It's great.
It's great.
Because God, we're gonna hit one of the best moments just now. Massive spoiler warning. As the others are gathered here, Manta comes out to attack Arthur. Vostok then gets in the way and is killed by the scepter. And
it is this Manta death is a really effective death. Like, despite being like the one of the others who's had the least amount of screen time.
Yeah. Well, you get a great feel for his character right from the start. You know,
there's this great monologue he has where he and Arthur are kind of parallels,
and he has the best fucking death line ever. Don't you see, Arthur? My greatest fear has been vanquished, and my greatest hope granted. I didn't die
alone.
Make sure you don't either. Oh my god. So good.
And Arthur vows, I'm going to kill him, Mira. Black Manta dies now.
And bringing us into the final issue of this collection, the final issue of this episode, Aquaman 13, with the best cover of the whole thing, of course. Great cinematic poster type thing, you know, like they even throw Vostok and the Seer on this cover, even though they're both fucking dead. They're just like, you know what? This looks amazing, doesn't it? The Trench is there. Look at that. The Trench is on Black Manta's eyepiece. And where the fuck are they?
They aren't in the story. But it's also just the perfect one to use as the cover for the volume.
I think isn't this the cover for the Omni? This might be the cover for the Omni.
I think Arthur and Mira from this cover are used on the Omni at least. I think it's that position. Possibly.
Yeah, it's that position. And no, it's this cover. It's just this cover because it so perfectly captures the Jeff Johns Aquaman run.
Yeah. Like, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if we use this as like the thumbnail image for this
See,
episode.
I would, but this is gonna sound really horrible of me. I'm going to use the trench one because it's the more well-known cover, and
You know
that's
what? I hate to say that that's fair.
it's I, I I hate saying shit like that, but it's gonna grab more clicks.
And we need more people to watch.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, not that we haven't had decent listenership recently, but
But
you
we
know,
need to grow.
yeah, there's a lot of potential for aggressive expansion, in the words of Heath
Yes.
Ledger. Um, let's let's go on to issue 13. Again, opening on a flashback. Again, doing sort of the same thing we do with the Seer, where we foreshadow Vostok's death, where he says, "I still have a heart," and just like you, and he's fucking dead. Oh my god. We get sort of a replay of last time. Arthur says Manta dies next. Just does not give a shit at this point. He is out for blood.
And the island starts to sink.
Mhm. So we go after Manta here. We sort of regroup first though, and we get this great scene with the others and Shin and Mira there. And Aquaman goes to get his costume back on. I think the reason he hasn't worn it through most of this volume is obviously representative of his of his connection with the others and why
Well,
he.
and his sort of othering. He's othering himself through this. He's isolating and othering himself, feeling very not human and only really driven by that desire to kill the man who he feels responsible, who was responsible for killing his father. Even if Black Manta technically isn't responsible.
Yeah,
Like,
but now Manta did kill Vostok, and Aquaman was not one of the others when that happened.
yeah.
He is Aquaman now, and I think this, him putting the costume back on now is very representative of that. But anyway, go back to Manta. What the fuck is this thing? My God, this giant metal. No, it's not metal. Is that a creature? What is that?
I think it's supposed to be like a metal kaiju-esque artifact from Atlantis.
Well, it is
Like,
definitely from Atlantis because the Atlanteans step out and they give Manta like his treasure.
yeah. So it's like a ship.
But an interesting scene here because Atlanteans are paying Manta for these artifacts.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
And this idea that there's like this hint that there's like a war coming, and in the aftermath, the surface will be his.
Yeah.
And
obviously, I mean, I'm sure you already put it together. We're setting up for Throne of Atlantis here.
Yeah, we are set. We are doing all the Throne of Atlantis setup. Arthur bursts out of the water in a brilliant full page. He's referred to as King Arthur by this Atlantean, which is interesting.
Yeah, this Atlantean ship starts to sail away. Aquaman says, "There's no telling how many Atlanteans are on that ship. Who are you? Who's in there? Orm, if it's you, come out and talk. Do you know who Orm is?"
I do not.
Ooh, I am interested then. Oh, this is gonna be fun. This
Again,
is gonna
Aquaman's
be so
a character
much
I
fun.
know very little about.
Oh, this is gonna be so much fun. I'm so excited. Yeah. So anyway, Manta continues his attack. This Atlantean ship starts to get away. See, big fight happens. Manta attacks. Does he kill Prisoner here? No, he just wounds him, I guess.
Wounds him. I think the implication is trying to like chop off his arms.
Mm-hmm.
And Arthur intervenes, stabbing him through the eye with the trident.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
knocks off his helmet. And Good, get closer. He says, "I love this sort of like face-to-face confrontation between Manta and Aquaman now."
It's this great line of, "You murdered my friends, you slit Kaina's throat, you severed Vostok's spine, but I should do even worse to you." And then he pauses. And Man's like, "What are you waiting for? I'm unarmed. Finish this." "It is finished, Manta. No, this isn't done until you kill me like Ahab and the monster. Show them what kind of murderer you really are. Kill me."
One day, probably, but not like this. Never like this again. And we go to the aftermath. Manta is, where is he put after this?
I think he's just taken away. Does he go to Arkham Asylum? No.
Oh wait, I think that will be answered next time.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So Shin is safe. I like that Shin made it out alive. That's nice. Um, and
Bruised, but still
yeah,
there.
we start to part way with the others here. We go to Cedar Falls, Iowa. We get this nice little like Aquaman monologue over it, and this is the prisoner, right? Yeah, prisoner, and
Yeah.
who sort of goes to this home of this family, um, and and sort of gives them this sort of closure. Presumably, like they lost their dad or
Their
something,
dad, yeah. And
and
I think the idea is that like he was on his squad and it implies that like he's able to project the memories of those he was close to.
and I
Uh,
love that last panel with all the soldiers there.
yeah, it's fascinating. And we use sort of the final page back on that dock. Um, my father used to stand on the end of this dock every morning. He told my mother that he'd be waiting here for her, hoping one day she'd come back. She never did. It broke his heart. Um, I've been afraid of losing you like he lost her. You accepted me despite my past. You should have faith that I'd do the same. I'll never leave you, Arthur. Never. And they kiss.
And it's so sweet as they're being watched by someone that says, Mara will stand in our way, then we move her out of it. Praise the king. Yes, praise the king. A chilling note to end the others on. And overall,
That's that.
that's the end. What did we think of these?
I loved it. So, listeners, as we go, I have been ranking every um, every book that we do by book, not necessarily by episode. Though some episodes are like just going to be right next to each other in the ranking for multi-book episodes.
Mhm.
Like interestingly, currently both of these books are in my top 10. Like
Hey, cool. And we're what, up to 16 individual books now, right?
17 actually.
17?
Yeah.
I think you're wrong.
No, I have
Oh
17.
yeah, you're right. Sorry, you're right. Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think what you're thinking is you're forgetting Court and City of Owls.
Yeah, Court City. Yeah.
We're in fact two books. Those are the two books that are like that are right next to each other in the ranking because it is all one story.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
But yeah. So yeah, I think it's great. This all 13 of these issues. They're so damn good.
It's not perfect, but
Mm-mm.
like then there are a couple of flaws, a couple of things that may have not aged well. But honestly, if you're listening to this, Aquaman as a character deserves respect, and both of these books are still in print.
Yes,
So
absolutely. And also there's a lovely omnibus that
yes,
has
there is an omni that has basically it's basically it's an omni of what the first 4 volumes of the new 52
yeah, first 4
Aquaman.
volumes I believe, and out of 8.
Out of
So
eight.
eight is the whole thing. It's just the first 4 are all the Jeff Johns stuff, and it's all great. It's all fantastic.
It is fantastic. It is like again, I didn't entire I can see like one of my first memories of Aquaman is a friend of mine when I was really young in Boy Scouts, right when the a year into the new 52, honestly, very probably. Who was a big Aquaman fan. It was like no, if you want Aquaman, and it was the Trench. It was a copy of the Trench.
Yeah.
That he had. And
it's telling that this series made an entire generation of Aquaman fans. It's so cool. So cool.
I would be very excited to read like present Aquaman and past Aquaman just to see how different they are. Like even the Silver Age where it's camp, that would be interesting just to see. Like this will make you at least fall in love with the character, despite not being like perfect world-shattering storytelling. Because it's still Jeff Johns, and Jeff Johns is very much as far as I can tell, I think I told you this, Joey, seems to be very much a blockbuster type writer.
Yeah. This one a little less so than Justice League, I'd say. But even then, I mean, it's still pretty big, especially in the others.
Pretty big, world hopping, has some great imagery. Ivan Reis's art is such a shock. It stands so much better here than it did in that one issue of Justice League because it was shoved in between Jim Lee arts.
Yeah, because it was just those last couple of pages of the issue. But even then, that spread is gorgeous with Martian Manhunter there. Yeah, Ivan Reese's art is great. Jeff Johns is on fire as always, just a great writer, and yeah, it's brilliant. I absolutely love it. All right, so obviously there's no adapted. We're not doing any adapted media this time. That will all be next time, because obviously next time, what else are we gonna do? Jacob already knows this. Hell, he already has the books. We're doing Justice League Volume 3 and Aquaman Volume 3, Throne of Atlantis. In addition to like the couple issues that come before the main event in both of those volumes. So yeah, so that's what we're doing next time. We're doing Throne of Atlantis. We'll be watching the animated movie Throne of Atlantis, and we'll be watching the 2018 Aquaman movie. So plenty of Justice League and Aquaman in our future. Please be sure to join us next time. Before we head out, let's do plugs. Follow me on Twitter at Jomo with 3 underscores. Follow Jacob at Newt5996. I will leave those linked in the description of the YouTube video.
As always,
I think we're going to say the same thing I was going to.
Pretty much, yeah.
If you want to read these books, they'll be linked in the description. Also, as well as our next reading will be linked in the description. Again, yeah, thank you all so much for listening.
If you're right, please leave a like, comment, subscribe if you're on YouTube. Leave us a rating and review if you are on iTunes, Spotify, or any podcast platform.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you all so much for listening. I guess until next time, this has been Joey Morgan
and Jacob Licklider.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.